You all right there?
The verdict first came down in December, but legal restrictions meant Cardinal George Pell, the Vatican's treasurer, couldn't be reported guilty in Australia until now. Pell, the country's most powerful Catholic, is now the most senior Vatican official ever convicted of child sex offenses. Pell was on trial for assaulting 2 choir boys in the late 1990s when he was Archbishop of Melbourne. The prosecution's case hinged on the testimony of one of those boys. He told the court Pell assaulted them after Mass, forced him to perform oral sex on him, and committed an indecent act with his friend. He also testified that a month later, Pell pushed him against a wall and groped him. He said, quote, "I didn't tell anyone at the time. I had no intention back then of telling anyone ever." The other victim died of a drug overdose as an adult, having never told his family of the abuse. The Cardinal had called the allegations outrageous.
I'm innocent of these charges. They are false. The whole idea of sexual abuse is abhorrent to me.
He didn't take the stand during the trial. Instead, a video of his interview with Australian detectives was played to the court. He pleaded not guilty, and his defense lawyer said the accusations were a fantasy.
You still plan to fight the charges?
But a jury convicted Pell on all 5 charges. 1 of the sexual penetration of a child, and 4 of an indecent act with or in the presence of a child. It's a shocking fall from grace for one of the Vatican's top officials, who has long been an influential, if divisive, figure in Australia. He rose through the ranks of the church to become Archbishop of Melbourne, then Sydney, then a cardinal, before being appointed Vatican treasurer and a member of the Pope's informal Council of Advisors. But while his star rose in the Vatican, Pell came in for mounting criticism at home, as the Australian church became the center of a global child abuse scandal. A national inquiry into institutional responses to child sex abuse found 7% of the country's Catholic priests were accused of abusing children between 1950 and 2010. It identified nearly 2,000 alleged perpetrators, including priests, brothers, laypeople, and religious sisters. When he appeared in front of the Royal Commission in 2016, Pell faced questions about whether he had done enough to weed out abuse and get justice for the victims. Now the Cardinal himself has been convicted, and other survivors of clerical sexual abuse unrelated to the Pell case are elated.
Justice is what I thought, justice for the victims. I think that should give everyone that's thinking about, whether you'll be believed or whether you will or won't win the fight, it should give you the courage to come forward and at least be heard.
Pell's conviction will undoubtedly hurt the Catholic Church, already battling decades of revelations about pedophile priests. The Pope removed Pell from his advisory council back in December, but the damage to the Church may be difficult to repair now that this global crisis has reached the top of the Vatican. Michelle Powers, Current News.